Mark 2. After some days, Jesus returned to Capernaum, and it was reported that he was in the house. Soon so many gathered that there was no more room, not even at the door, and he preached the word to them. Then some men came, bringing to him a paralyzed man, carried by 4 of them. Unable to get near Jesus because of the crowd, they made an opening in the roof above him, and, after digging through it, lowered the mat on which the paralyzed man lay. Seeing their faith, Jesus said to the paralyzed man, "Son, your sins are forgiven." But some of the scribes were sitting there, thinking in their hearts, "Why does this man speak like this? He is blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God alone?" Immediately Jesus knew in his spirit what they were thinking, and said to them, "Why are you thinking these things? Which is easier, to say to the paralyzed man, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up, take your mat, and walk'? But so that you may know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." He said to the paralyzed man, "I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home." The man got up, took his mat, and walked out in full view of them all. They were all amazed and praised God, saying, "We have never seen anything like this." Once again, Jesus went out beside the sea. A large crowd gathered around him, and he taught them. As he walked along, he saw Levi son of Alphaeus sitting at the tax booth. "Follow me," Jesus told him, and Levi got up and followed him. Later, Jesus was dining at Levi's house, and many tax collectors and sinners were eating with him and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. When the scribes and Pharisees saw him eating with sinners and tax collectors, they asked his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?" On hearing this, Jesus said to them, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but sinners." Now John's disciples and the Pharisees were fasting. People came and asked Jesus, "Why do John's disciples and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not?" Jesus replied, "Can the guests of the bridegroom fast while he is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. But the time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them, and on that day they will fast. No one sews a patch of unshrunk cloth on an old garment. Otherwise, the new piece will pull away from the old, making the tear worse. And no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise, the wine will burst the skins, and both the wine and the wineskins will be ruined. Instead, new wine is poured into fresh wineskins." One Sabbath, Jesus was walking through the grain fields, and his disciples began to pick some heads of grain as they walked along. The Pharisees said to him, "Look, why are they doing what is unlawful on the Sabbath?" Jesus replied, "Have you never read what David did when he and his companions were hungry and in need? He entered the house of God during the time of Abiathar the high priest, and ate the consecrated bread, which is lawful only for priests to eat, and he also gave some to his companions. Then he said to them, 'The Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath.'"